Hi guys, how are you this morning? Um, yeah, we're all experiencing some COVID-19 issues and so on. I hope we are all safe and wearing masks and staying indoors. Um, yeah, I decided that since for the last year I haven't been working and money is so scarce that since I started working, I have a 2009 Toyota Yaris 1.3 VVTi engine. It's a 2nz FE engine code, and I decided to service it myself instead of taking it to the dealer. This time it's on 180,000 Ks, so it's the 180,000 kilometer service. Yeah, I think I'll show you a few things before we start, like the parts and everything that I bought already. First things first, um, if you are attempting to service a car at home, maybe put on some old clothes, as I have done here, old jeans or old pants, old shoes, some old skipper. It's a bit chilly at the moment in South Africa as we are upon autumn now. I have some gloves on as well, but I think the gloves help for not to stain your fingers and your fingerprints. Then later on you have to wash your hands several times to get it out, and then you're still stuck with some dirt and grit and oil under your fingernails. So I'm attempting to do this with gloves for the first time as well. Yeah, let's have a look at some of the things. Yes, let's have a look at some of the parts. So I'm using Shell Helix 15W40 multigrade as Toyota, I think they recommend 15W40. I'm not so sure. I've heard that Toyota is using Shell Helix as well, even though they are using or if you buy the oil from Toyota, they actually have it in a Toyota bottle. I have a air filter that I bought from a spare shop as well, and then I have a GUD filter for the oil filter, and I have some NGK spark plugs, and then this is actually the code. It does video, just I don't know why it's not focusing nicely, but if you can see the code there. But anyway, I'll read it out. It's BKR 5EYA-11 NGK spark plugs. It's the ones that when I last serviced it Toyota, I see it's the ones that they were using as well. And then some tools. So I have a 10 spanner for the plastic cover that comes on top. I'll show you how to loosen that. I have a medium to short extension, not the very long extension for the ratchet that I have here. I have a 16mm long socket for the spark plugs when I change them, and then I have a 14 socket to drain the oil from the sump, and then I have well, this is my homemade oil filter wrench that I did. If you guys have some old belt like this laying around, or the flat belt, fan belt, cam belt, it doesn't matter, you can use that. And then I used a vice grip to try and grip the size of the oil filter, and then I'm going to loosen that with this. So yeah, that's it for the tools that I need. I have an old rag in case I spill some oil or something, and then I'm actually lying on an old board that nobody's using, that we're going to throw away, so I'm gonna lie on that. Or if you have an old rag, an old towel, old blanket, anything old that you can lay on if you want. But since you're wearing old clothes, I don't think it's a big issue as well. You can just have a look at that and then you can use this. Yeah, the other thing that I did was I jacked up the one side of the car with my jack just to get some leverage to the oil filter. This is how the engine looks at the moment. Very clean, very nice. A little bit of dirt. I think it's been 2-3 months since I last washed the engine, but I do. Engine code is right there on the intake manifold. So yeah, I'm going to start by draining the oil and so on, but you know what, you can actually try and see down here. If you lay on your board with your oil filter wrench, there's your oil filter. There's not much gap between the engine and the oil filter, but yeah, let me see if I can get in there. What I did was I put it in like that. Yeah, pressed it in like that there. As you can see, it's holding. Try and grip it as close as possible to the oil filter that you can with the vice grip, and then you just twist it like that, and to give it a little bit of a twist, you're probably gonna need a lot more power and grip, or you can use something to try and twist it this way, but it's going clockwise for loosening and anti-clockwise for tightening. So yeah, then I'm going to definitely take off this sump plug, as they call it, to drain the oil. I'll do that first before I take off the oil filter, otherwise all the oil will come out of the oil filter. But yeah, let me start with that. While you are down here, you can check for any oil leaks any place around the sump, but I've actually sealed this up. When I took the car first to Toyota, when I took ownership at 135,000 Ks, Toyota said that it has a leak, so I actually took off the bolts, which is quite easy. It's 10 spanner. It's a number 10 spanner or socket that you can use. I took off all the bolts, took off the sump plug. I actually drained the oil first before that, and then I sealed it up with some gasket maker. Toyota doesn't make any gasket for this item, so you have to use some gasket maker. And yeah, since then, which was at around 138,000 Ks or so, until now 180,000 Ks, no oil as yet, so I actually sealed that up pretty good. But let's start with the oil drain. Toyota recommends around 3.7 liters of oil, so I suspect that the engine has around about 3.7 liters of oil in the engine. So I have two 2-liter ice cream tubs here at the moment. Normally you would want to use an old 5-liter oil can that you would cut out on the side, and that would then catch up all the oil if you don't have any oil catch tool. Yeah, I'm going to try and catch it up now with this. This is very amateurish, so please guys don't crucify me on this, but I just need to service the car and I don't have a old oil catch can or anything. So yes, you just take your ratchet and your socket, and you actually start to just loosen that nut a little bit so that you can turn it with your fingers. And then you just carefully turn it with your fingers, not all the way though. yes, but what I would want is for the oil to come out slowly. Actually just keep it in your hand. You know, I wouldn't want to make any mess at the moment, but that's it, simple. And then I'm gonna keep it there until I drain all this oil up till a certain level, as you can see. Then I'm gonna try and just put back that nut to try and move over the bucket to the other side. Yeah, just not to mess any oil at all. So yeah, this is where your gloves come in very, very handy. As you can see, the oil is draining nicely, and I think that's enough for now. Let me just try and squeeze this back in there just for that little while, and then yeah, let me see if I can maneuver that bucket over. And that's it. Let's see while that drains. I'll just put this nut over here and wait for that bucket to finish drain, and then I'll continue with the next step. Okay, so I'm going to tackle the oil filter now, and I'm now going to try and it's not yet loose with the hand, so I'm just putting it on again. I'm just giving it some few more turns. Yeah, now it's loosened with the hand, and yeah, that is my oil filter wrench working a treat. But now there's still some oil in the oil filter, so I will leave that little bit to drain. But oh, the wind is heavy. The wind is heavy today. So yeah, could I have this? Could I have on some old clothes? And it's good I have this board so that I don't dirty the driveway. So I'm thinking maybe I should just take it off completely. And that's it. Okay, so I'll wait for most of the oil to drain out. You use your 10 spanner. Okay, let's fasten. Take off your cover here. Just loosen them up. Yeah, like I said, it's a windy day today, so I'm just gonna keep the oil cap on loosely so that there's no dirt that goes on there. Just close it a little bit more. Okay, so let me just pause. I'll show you when we are busy with the spark plugs. Okay, as you can see, the cover is off the engine, and then we have some what they call coil packs. So the coil packs is also using a 10 spanner. You can just loosen that up. Okay, it might be a so yeah, coil pack. yes, this car is not using bogey cords, it's using coil packs. Nice and expensive, good technology. That's number one. So I don't want any dirt to go in there, but I don't know if you can see there. Right down there is the spark plug. Okay, this is the tool, my ratchet, the medium extension, and my 16mm socket. It fits nicely in there. If you use the long one, it actually hits on the top here, so that's why I'm using the medium extension. So you just take them out. And then put in the new ones. I'll do the first one for you, and then the rest I will do off camera. Okay, the only problem I've encountered with this socket set is that this socket is not really a plug spanner, so it doesn't have a magnetic pull up or a catch within the socket to catch the spark plug. But as you can see, I'm just using a long nose plier to take out that spark plug. I'll take one of my new NGKs out. And there you can see a bright new shiny NGKR. That's the old one. Let's just double check before putting them in if it's the same one. Yes, it is. And then as you can see here, camera's not so good, it's still adjusting, but yeah, as you can see, that's how the old one looks. That's the new one. That's how the new one looks. I see there's some type of groove in it. The old one as well, and the old one doesn't really look that much different from the new one, but you can see some blackage around the spark point, and there's some wear on there, whereas this one is nice, shiny, and it's more uniform. The molding, the gap between the spark point and the steel part where the spark actually strikes is less or smaller. This one actually looks a bit bigger, I can see there. These spark plugs, Toyota gives a 45,000 change interval for it. When I did it at 135,000, Toyota actually changed it, so I'm changing it now at 180,000. I have heard of other Toyotas using iridium spark plugs, and their change intervals are actually at 90,000. So yeah, not bad. And these ones didn't cost much, they cost about 45 Rand each, which is not bad for 45,000 interval. So I don't need to change them every 15,000 as most of the older cars get changed at. Okay, and then we just turn them back in, put them back in, and then that's that for the spark plugs. And then I'll show you, I'll do them, all of them now, and then I'll show you the air filter change, and then we will do the oil filter, put on the new oil filter, clean the housing a little bit, put on the new oil filter, and seal the sump, and then throw the oil, and then our service is done. Okay guys, so yeah, this is where your air filter sits. I think we can do that one now. It just has these two clips here that you just clip open. Right, this is probably your AMS sensor, and then at the back it just you just lift it up like this from the front. At the back it just pulls out the two places. Yes, and then we don't want to damage anything, so I don't want to pick it up too high, but as long as we can get to the filter. And as you can see, this is one dirty air filter. This is the part that was at the bottom. You can see it's very dirty, full of dust, a few twigs, a bug or two, and then on this side it's black. So these are non-washable. Alright, let's compare to the new one. As you can see, brand spanking new one, beautiful. So this is the side that must be on the outside, like so, and just look at that difference, eh? Just look at that difference. Very big difference. This is the side that must be on the inside. So yeah, great stuff. Outside, inside. Okay, let's do this. Okay, I'm just going to put this one back now, so I'll put you guys on pause. Okay guys, so I did the air filter. You can see there's a small tab there that's sticking out. You can see it's pure white, so that's the new one. This is the old one. So what we're gonna do now is just prime it a little bit. I've already cleaned the oil filter housing, and I've already put back the sump plug. Now normally the sump plug, you would want to maybe change the sump plug seal, but Toyota did that in the last service, so I'm not going to do that now. As long as it doesn't leak, everything is fine. And then yeah, so you have to prime the oil filter a little bit, and then maybe also just lubricate the seal, that rubber seal at the top there, so that it seals better, and then also it's easier to take off the next time when you change the oil filter. They recommend tightening it by hand. I'll tighten it by hand and maybe a little bit with the tool that I made, just to make sure it's sealed. But that little bit, when I tighten it with the tool, I'll first start up the engine, let it warm up, and then I'll just tighten it a little bit, not much, just to make sure that it doesn't leak at all. So yeah, let's open up our oil. I didn't want to do it like that now. That was a bit of a big hole. So anyway, there's nothing we can do about that now. Maybe let's just see if I can't put the phone somewhere. Yeah, maybe here between my legs, and then I can just pick up the oil filter. some nice clean oil in there. And that's fine. And then you can just take some of that oil, rub it nicely around the oil filter seal. Quite a windy day, but I think that's fine. You can see the oil is golden brown. As you can see, the oil is nice golden brown. Now normally you would want to, maybe flush the engine of the old oil, but I made sure that I could drain as much as possible. The old oil didn't look too bad. It was a little bit darker than this, a little bit darker brown, but nevertheless it was a nice golden brown color. As you can see there, not too black, so I'm not gonna worry too much about that. We'll maybe do a flush at the next service. So yeah, let's get to it. Put back the oil filter now. Yeah, just hold on 1 second. You have a nice look there. I'm not sure, maybe turn it a little bit this way. Yeah. And then you just screw it on like that. Remember to tighten it is anti-clockwise. So tighten it a little bit to the tool. And just again, just to I think that's it. You don't have to make it too tight because it's still gonna warm up and seal, but you don't want it to leak, so that's the thing. We don't want it to leak at all, so I just want to wipe it off, you know, and then yeah, that's it for the oil filter. Now I'm gonna pour my oil, but I'm gonna show you in a minute what I'm gonna use since I don't have an oil funnel. Right, so I'm gonna use this 2-liter plastic bottle that I cut up quickly to make a funnel for the oil to be poured in without trying to mess. So yeah, we're going to do that now. Toyota prescribes that we use 3.7 liters of oil, so I'm going to pour in some oil. And then I think about half of this bottle, and then I'm going to check if I'm having any leaks or anything like that. This actually works quite a charm, as a funnel. Let's check where are we now. I only poured about a quarter in. This is a 5-liter bottle, so I think just more than half. You'll be left with about a quarter, just a little bit less than a quarter. Then I think you would have satisfied the beast. Let's see, where are we now? Yeah, I think we are at about half. I think we'll pour in some more. I don't see any leaks right now, but I'm obviously still going to start the car and, you know, and have it set nicely. Also don't want to overfill it. about 2/3, I think. Fine. Let's see what other dubsticks say now. The dubstick shows about 3/4 full, so I think that's a safe amount. Let me just double check again. Sharp. So let me just double check for any leaks at the bottom. Yes, I don't see any leaks at the moment. So I'm also going to start the car, take it off the jack, start the car, and then let it idle and everything, and then yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check the car off, leave it a little while, see where's the dubstick, and then I'll start the car and see what it does, and then from there, after it has warmed up and set for a while, I'll just top up the oil again. So yeah, that's more or less what the service entails.